I'm the writer and director of Narcan. As you can see at this very second, we're driving an ambulance over the Queensborough Bridge on our way into shoot day 4. It's fun. And thanks for all the contribution, guys, to making this happen.
I came from extremely poor background. We were discarded, people like us. When it came to going to secondary school, there wasn't none there for me. The principal never set me up. He never put in my application form, and that was it. Off I went. My mother and father aren't educated, so they didn't think education was a priority. For a time, they tried to put me into youth centres, youth reach, and I actually went to one. It's called St. Martin's. It's a youth reach program. It's kind of a school/prison. It didn't fit in. I left there, and I was on the street walking around at 11 and 12. When I was 13, I think, I ended up working on the docks, taking timber off the ships, loading them onto trucks. That's kind of what happens to a kid from my background. And at a young age, like 15, I realised right away that school was important. All my friends were doing junior cert and leaving cert, and I wasn't doing anything. I was sitting at home. I knew early on that I need to get an apprenticeship to try and make something of my life and not be a statistic. Unfortunately, you couldn't get an apprenticeship without a junior cert or a leaving cert. And I felt super insecure, the fact that I didn't have them. I felt stupid. And it was the first thing that was asked for every interview. Do you have a junior cert? Do you have a leaving cert? I didn't have any. I was lucky that a friend of the family and a friend of mine was a tiler, and he offered to take me on as an apprentice. I couldn't go through the legal route because I didn't have a junior cert, but he offered to train me for 4 years, exactly the same way as he trained. And for me and my family, I guess it was like winning the lotto, to think that I might actually become something, a tiler. And that's what I did. I started training as a tiler. Originally, I went to New York when I was 17. I had been just tiling for 6 months, and the tiler himself was moving, so I went with him. I thought it'd be a perfect escape for me to get away from the leaving cert, the junior cert, and my insecurities around it. So I thought New York was the spot. I'd go there, I'd tile, I'd live the life, and no one would ever bring up the fact that I was uneducated. It was all lies. Having been there for a year, I realised very quickly that I wasn't escaping anything, that it was something inside me. It wasn't the location, it wasn't where I was. It was something inside me that I couldn't run away from. I just couldn't escape it. Whilst in New York, my girlfriend at the time was with me, and she wanted to come home and set up a life, a real life in terms of mortgage, family. So I went back home for that. I went back home to set up a life, and we got a mortgage. We got a bunch of kids. I have 3 kids. And I continued to tile, and everything was good. Everything was good on the outside, for a while at least. I think in 2007, before I got married, the recession hit, and all of a sudden the work wasn't there anymore. And we were falling behind on mortgage repayments. And it brought to the surface once again my lack of education. Because when the recession occurred, everyone spoke about going to college and getting a degree. And in the back of my head, it was like an alarm going off, going, oh shit, I've never been to school, to mine college, how am I going to do that? I know it sounds like a cliche. It's a story that I tell people all the time when I work in their houses. You know, I didn't want to be on my deathbed and had only been a tiler or a construction worker. I felt that I could do something more than that. And that's the message that I give to my children, that you can be anything you want to be. You know, it's something that was never said to me ever in my life, that I can do whatever I want to do. But it's something that I tell the kids from an early age. If you want something, go get it. Don't let anyone tell you you can't do it. And I took my own advice. I was working on a big job, big construction job, and a customer told me that it was too late for me, that I would have to live vicariously through my kids. And I was 31 years of age. And I decided right then that I'm going to go back to school and give it a go and prove to my kids that education is the way forward. And then I started looking at college courses, and for a while I entertained the idea of mechanical engineering or mental health nursing, all things that were of slight interest to me, but I had always written stories. I had always told stories. And in terms of filmmaking, it was something that I had done as a teenager. So instead of making a decision to go back with my head and get a good office job or a good engineering job, I made it with my heart. And it's something that I hope my kids follow as well. Like, don't be something that you don't want to be. Do what you love. The rest will follow. So I went back and started college. My first attempt at filmmaking was a film called The Bridge. It's kind of funny thinking about it now because it seems like it's years and years ago. I didn't know how to turn on a camera. I didn't know how to set up lights or record sound or anything. But I wrote The Bridge from actual experience. I've been in the same position as Jerry, the protagonist of the piece, numerous times, where I feel and have felt that I can't go on. Unlike Jerry, I will always put my kids first and come home. I have been in the same position as him, and I guess that's where it came from. I wrote it, we shot it, and the reaction was crazy. People just, I guess, responded to him and his situation. It's very much a Limerick film, I think, because there's a lot of people that are in that position where without work and without money, everything turns to shit. And it's frightening. And a lot of people in Limerick seem to, understand it too. Making Loss was, it was a personal story, and I made Lost to show people that every day you can walk around with bereavement and still put on a smile for everybody, and it's extremely hard. I've lost people that were close to me myself, and you still got to get up in the morning, you still got to say hi to your neighbour, and you still got to do your thing. And I mean, it was just the same with The Bridge. It was a glimpse inside a real person's life. And in terms of making it, it was very small, and I never thought it was going to go and do what it did with festivals. Everything so far is a pleasant surprise, and I think I'm very lucky. I like to be moved. I like to show people when they're most fragile and most vulnerable. And you see that in everything that I do in terms of The Bridge and Loss and Narcan. It's when they're at their weakest, when you don't want people to see you crying and snotting all over your face. That's where the real emotion is, and I try to capture that. I try to capture it. I hope that I've done an okay job so far, but I'm still learning. But to get inside that type of a character and that type of role I love it. Well, Narcan
is a New York story. It's written about a New York paramedic, a real person working in a real job. So by default, I couldn't shoot it anywhere else. Peter had been living in New York as an actor working. He was pretty well established back here, and we met up. He liked some stuff that I had done, and we started pre-production on Narcan, and it was a huge undertaking, as you can imagine. That on the flight to New York, I really felt different than I had ever felt. I wasn't on the run anymore. I felt I wasn't frightened anymore. I could tell people that, yes, I left school early, and I didn't feel ashamed anymore. And if that had been like that 15 years earlier, I probably would have given America a better chance, but I needed to come home and face my fear. You can't keep on running. So landing in America was a positive one. I was happy to tell people who I was and who I really was. We shot Narcan, and it's a beautiful story. It's a harrowing story about real people again, the very same as The Bridge, the very same as Loss. No big thematic event that happens. It's just a real person doing a real job in a real city. Because when you're there, you've got the adrenaline, you're trying to tell a story, you're trying to manage all these people, and you want your vision to be told in the right way. So you don't pay any attention to where you are. It's when you come home and you see articles in the paper about you shooting a film in New York, and you see photographs that people would show you, and it's just like, wow, we actually did it. Like, you know, from leaving school at 11 with no hope, no job, discarded by everybody, and now I'm shooting a film in New York City that people actually want to be part of. And it's a testament to the story and the team that we put together. And, you know, I'm proud of that. I'm proud that my kids have seen me do that they can look up to me, and they'll always know that I didn't sit around, that I got up and made dreams happen. And I hope that they follow in my footsteps and do the exact same thing.